ஹலோ.
இது ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை. இவருக்கு ஏன் உங்கள் ஃபோனில் இருக்காங்க? என்னோட ஃபோனில் எங்கிட்ட இருக்குது எங்கிட்ட இருக்குது இல்லை. இன்னும் 3.5 mm ஜாக் இருக்குது. அப்படியே நீங்கள் போட்டுருங்க. ரைட்டு அன்னைக்கு மாதிரி தேடிட்டு இருந்தானே ஸ்ரீதர். சரி, இங்கே முதல்ல கேட்கல. எதில் எனக்கு கேட்கவே இல்லை. ஹலோ, எங்கே கேட்குது? சௌந்தர்யா நீ பேசு. கேட்குது. ஆனால் அந்த ஒரு இந்த வாய்ஸ் மட்டும் ஒரு மாதிரி வித்தியாசமாக கேட்குது. காப்பாற்றினது இப்போ நான். நீங்கள் எல்லாம் பிடிச்சது நான் வெளில உட்காந்துருக்க முடியாது. கேட்குற மாதிரி இருக்கு. மைக்கில் பேசினா தானே கேட்கணும். நீங்கள் தனியாக வீடியோ வந்து வச்சு பண்ணுறீங்க. ஃபோன் என்ன பார்த்து பார்த்து
A very joyful morning to everyone. If knowledge is a problem, then learning is a superpower. We now accept the fact that learning is a lifelong process of keeping abreast of change, and the most pressing task is to teach the people how to learn. It's a truly an honor for me to extend a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished guests and to all the participants from various pharmacy colleges as we kick off the inauguration of the 5-day international level parent development program on transforming pharmacy education and FTP on teaching, innovation and leadership. This FTP is not just a platform for learning, it's a This prayer song is a humble offering of gratitude, faith and hope. Let it remind us of the beauty of grace and strength of unity and the peace that comes when we surrender to the higher power. So let us close our eyes, listen with our hearts and join together in the spiritual melody. May it bring peace to our minds and joy to our spirits. Let us now stand for the echo of God's peace. I request the Vinamadi and Lord for praise. Please come. Thank you, girls. It's a moment of great joy and reverence as we gather here today for this auspicious occasion. The lighting of the lamp is not just a ceremonial act, but a symbol of knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment that we seek through learning and progress. It is a tradition that marks the beginning of a new journey, and we are privileged to be a part of this sacred moment. As we light the lamp today, we invite the light of wisdom to guide us through the coming days, bringing a clarity, inspirations, and a sense of purpose. The flame represents the removal of darkness and ignorance, and it stands as a reminder of the transformative power of knowledge and learning. I now request our dignitaries on the dais to kindly come forward and light the lamp, symbolizing the commencement of this faculty development program. Let us all join in this beautiful moment with reverence and gratitude. Please, sir. Thank you all for this wonderful gift. May the light of this lamp continue to inspire and guide us throughout this event, enriching our minds and souls. It is said that a leader is someone who inspires and guides with wisdom and grace, and today we are fortunate to have such a remarkable leader in our midst. Our principal, Dr. Samakuma, has always been a pillar of strength, a source of motivation, and a visionary guiding light for all of us. With great respect and admiration, I now invite our esteemed principal, Dr. Samakuma, to deliver the welcome address and officially set the tone for this wonderful gathering. Please join me in giving a big round of applause as we welcome them to the stage. Please, sir.
Good morning and warm welcome to our lab. So I am happy to stand before you on this occasion of 5 days National Level Faculty Development Program on topic Transformation Pharmacy Education and the activity of cutting edge for teaching, innovation, research and leadership. Organized by ERODE College of Pharmacy in association with APTA Tamil Nadu branch, accredited by Tamil Nadu Doctor Medical University. So in this happiest moment, it is my pride and privilege to welcome our respected secretary and correspondent. He is always motivating and encouraging us to do all the activities which is necessary for the education institution. So in this occasion, I welcome our secretary and correspondent. I welcome you, sir. Next, it is my honor to welcome our Vice President, Takamundu sir. He is always motivating to do all these activities to development of our institution. I welcome you, sir. And also, I welcome Dr. Rajshekhar sir, Principal, KMC College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore. In his busy schedule, he is giving acceptance for MDP session and also acceptance for chief guest of this program. On behalf of management, staff and student of ERODE College of Pharmacy, I welcome you, sir. Next, I welcome Professor Dr. Ramanathan. He is teacher and mentor for me in JSS College of Pharmacy. On this occasion, in his busy schedule, he has accepted our invitation and accept as a chief guest and also as a resource person for this 5 days MDP program. On behalf of our management, staff and student of ERODE College of Pharmacy, I welcome you, sir. And also I welcome our Vice Principal, Dr. V.S. Savanan, and our HODs and faculty members and other faculty members of other institutions in and around Tamil Nadu. So especially I thank the management who is given permission to conduct 5 days for faculty development program for our faculty and other faculty in Tamil Nadu. And also we are giving in online mode. So many Karnataka, Andhra and Kerala faculty members also, they are joined with us. I thank all the management and principal, those who are sponsored their faculty members to attend this program. Once again, I welcome you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you for your warm welcome, sir. It has indeed a moment of great pride and joy to gather here for an occasion that holds a deep respect and admiration. Today we come together to honor an individual whose contributions and dedications have left a lasting impact on all of us. Now I request our principal, Dr. Sampath sir, to adorn the shawl to our secretary and correspondent, Sri Natarajan Ayya. Thank you, sir. Now I request our Vice Principal, Dr. V.S. Saranan sir, to adorn the shawl to our Vice President, Sri M. Takamundu sir. Please, sir. Thank you, sir. As a symbol of our gratitude and appreciations, we will now be honoring Dr. A. Rajashekharan with a shawl. The shawl, a mark of honor, reflects our esteem for his hard work, leadership, and the positive influence he has had on our community. Now, I request our Secretary and Correspondent, Sri A. Natarajan Ayya, to come forward and kindly adorn to Dr. A. Rajashekharan, Professor and Principal, KMCH College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore, with the shawl, as we acknowledge the remarkable contribution he has made. Please, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I request our Vice President, Sri M. Takamundu sir, to adorn the shawl to our guest of honor, Ramanathan, Professor and Principal, PSC College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore. Please, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I request our Vice President, Sri M. Tangapathy sir, to give you a few words about this program. Please, sir.
அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய காலை வணக்கம். இந்த விழாவிற்கு நடைபெற்றுள்ள மதிப்புக்குரிய எங்களுடைய ட்ரஸ்டினுடைய செயலாளர் நடராஜன் அவர்களே மற்றும் சிறப்பு விருதுகளாக வருகிறது திரு ராஜசேகர், ப்ரொஃபஸர் அண்ட் பிரின்சிபல் கேஜிஎஸ் அவர்களே மற்றும் இங்கே அலமினேட் இங்கே வருகின்றிருக்கும் ப்ரொஃபஸர் அண்ட் பிரின்சிபல் ஆஃப் பிஎஸ்சி காலேஜ் ராமநாதன் அவர்களே மற்றும் எங்களுடைய கல்லூரியுடைய முதல்வர் அவர்களே, பணிமன் அவர்களே மற்றும் இங்கே பயிற்சி பெற அறிய கொண்டிருக்கும் சக பல கல்லூரி வருகை கொண்டிருக்கும் ஸ்டாஃப்ஸ் அவர்களே மற்றும் உங்களுக்காக பயிற்சி எடுக்க வருகை கொண்டிருக்கும் சீஃப் கெஸ்ட் அவர்களுடைய வாழ்த்தை விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றிகள்.
Thank you, sir. Without further ado, let us declare the National Level Faculty Development Program on transforming pharmacy and FTP on cutting-edge strategies for teaching, innovation, research and leadership officially open. May this program be a beacon of knowledge and inspiration for all. Once again, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished speakers and enthusiastic participants for gracing these occasions with your presence. Let us now embark on this enriching. Thank you, sir. Please, sir.
இதெல்லாம் இப்போ
a vital role in bridging the gap between academic learning and industry needs, empowering students to succeed in a rapidly evolving job market. It's my great pleasure to introduce our resource person, Dr. A. Rajashekharan, Principal, KMCH College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore. Dr. Rajashekharan has a teaching and research experience of 34 years. He is the recipient of Best Teacher Award from Dr. Tamil Nadu MGR Medical University in the year 2010. Best Paper Award for the Best HPDL publication from HPDL Association. Principal of the Year 2017 Award from National Body of APTI. He has received 4 funded research projects worth ₹1.57 crores from DSIR, DST, DRDO, as a principal investigator. 16 grant he received for conduct of conference, seminars and FDP. Patents granted 5 numbers. Research publications 26. Research findings presented in conferences 28. Guest lectures delivered 34. PhD scholars guided 15 numbers. M.Pharm thesis guided 29 numbers. He has published books 3, book chapters 4, contribution to profession in scientific services 42. He has made 21 MOU with industry government funding agencies. Further, he is a life member in APTA, IPA, IPGA, ISTE. Recognitions. National Siddha Pharmacopoeia Committee. He is also a subcommittee member in National Ayurveda Pharmacopoeia. IPC Scientific Services Committee member since 2016. Senate member, GCC member, Board of Studies member in Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University, Chennai. He has visited so many countries to deliver scientific presentations. Few of them are Philippines, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, UAE, the Netherlands. Now, may I request our resource person to share his knowledge.
Very good morning to all of you. I hope I am audible to all. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the management and my dear friend Dr. Sambat, the principal of this college, for giving a wonderful opportunity to me as well as to organize such an event for 5 days of the FDP. I just wanted to add a point here because before starting that, you all know this particular event of 5-day program was supposed to be inaugurated by one of the renowned academician, Dr. T.K. Ravi. He is no more today. His last breath yesterday night by 12 noon. To have a respectful homage to him, let us all be silent for a minute. Thank you. The APTA of Tamil Nadu State Branch is doing wonderful job. Leadership of Dr. Shankar, Vice Principal of PAG College of Pharmacy, and the Secretary, Dr. Sambat Kumar, Principal of ERODE College of Pharmacy. I just wanted to insist this one because the APTA was existing in this state for a long time, maybe 10 years or 20 years. The transformation has happened once these two people have taken over this. And there are a lot of things they are doing it. I just wanted to mention one or two things. They first instituted awards for the best administrators, lifetime achievers, researchers, and many more awards. This has not happened in any of the association which has been there. In fact, I'm as Vice President of IPA, we could not do all these things. That has been there. I'm supporting a lot of faculty members in terms of financial support. He has organized a lot of academic activities, organizing academic activities like quiz program in a national level, particularly for the teachers as well as for the students, and has given prizes. So all these credit go to Dr. Sambat and Dr. Shankar. And other important point which I wanted to mention is, once the teacher, after crossing 60 or 65, when they go out of the college, nobody bothers. They don't even call and say happy birthday or wish you a happy Teacher's Day. Nobody do it. This was a wonderful movement which has been done by Dr. Sambat and Shankar, because they have allotted some faculty members of the respective regions go and felicitate that particular teachers in that area. I could see a lot of people from Madurai, lot from Chennai, lot from Trichy, and many more has been happened in the entire state. Is only because of Dr. Sambat and Shankar. It's an excellent initiative. And he is trying to do a lot of activities. One of the other best example is conducting this FDP, right? So I could see the transformation has happened in a very good way. We'll try to keep it up and support Dr. Sambat, including myself and other teachers. You are the young generation, can do a lot like this, you can support him. So with this brief note, let me go to my topic. I have been instructed, in fact, I have been totally distant. Dr. Ramanathan is so close with Dr. Ravi. Since morning, I have not been comfortable. I am totally disturbed. Anyhow, since Sambat has requested me, I just came here to do something for you. I don't want to, because of my absence, the system should not be collapsed. That is why I am coming here. My topic, what has been assigned to me is, as per the FDP, we have in terms of teaching, then innovation, research, and leadership. The component which has been given to me is teaching, particularly effective evaluation strategies, crafting accurate and fair assessment tools. In fact, crafting of accurate and fair assessment tool is an essential component for effective, not only teaching, it is by any professional. It is a major requirement, so we need to take up this. And my overview of this presentation will be on two aspects. Slide is not moving. Is this on? Called as diagnostic assessment, which is also a tool. When I talk about assessment, there are more than 20 assessment which has been there. I'm not going to cover all these things. It will be really difficult to cover the entire things in a span of 1 hour. My part will be very restricted to what is required for the general education setup. So the diagnostic assessment is the one what the student or the person who are attending a session know about that particular topic. Accordingly, we have to tune up the lecture schedule and bring the effective information to that particular team. That is the reason why the question is asked called as diagnostic assessment. I am diagnosing what these participants are knowing. Accordingly, I have to change the style or the content or the information which I wanted to share. That is the so this is the two part. I will be covering mostly of the Bloom's taxonomy. The question is, why should I go to this particular term of Bloom's taxonomy? Before that, what is this Bloom's taxonomy? You all being a teachers, you are doing evaluation for more than maybe 4 years or 5 years or even sometimes 10 years. Whether it is a practical assessment or a theory assessment, question is same. You are the only teacher at start. But when you see the answers, everybody is answering a different contents. What is the reason? Same teacher, same question which has been explained in the same class. In spite of all this information what is been provided, every student is giving a different type of answers for whether it is a practical component or a theoretical component. What could be the reason? This was the research question which came into the mind of Benjamin Bloom, and he has given an answer. The answer is the thinking level of a teacher and a student is not matching. What is the thinking which I am making here is not exactly fitting with the student. So I am thinking something else and he is thinking something else and writing something else. So the thinking level has been taken into consideration. That is the reason he has developed a lot of various thinking levels. We call it as lower order thinking, higher order thinking, which I am going to cover. And that was been done by this particular gentleman. He did his PhD in the year 1942 in the University of USA, Chicago University. And so we are taking this particular part here. Why should we go for a Bloom's? This is the reason which I am telling you. Particularly faculty members who have joined freshly, definitely at one point of time you will be loaded with, in addition to teaching, you have to take up the accreditation process. It may be NBA or it may be NAC. So in such a cases, you need to know about a term called as course outcome. I don't know how many of you know this. To define a course outcome, this is mainly required. So designing a curriculum, designing a plan of the delivery or instruction, designing an assessment, all this is depending on this Bloom's taxonomy, and that is the reason I have correlated this Bloom's taxonomy into this particular session. Once you know about this Bloom's taxonomy, then we can know about the various assessment part. So you have to have a broad background of Bloom's which will be supporting for you to go for a assessment tool. So with this basis, we can definitely able to do it. So course outcome is the one which is mostly the teachers and the university sometimes are not able to clearly define what is a course. Even if you take a paper which has been received from MGR Medical University or any other university, they say B.Pharm is a course. Do you think it is correct? B.Pharm is a program. And what you are studying as a subject is called as a course. It is not the correct terminology. Please correct it. You are all younger generations. You teach your seniors or students or the administrators so that it should be corrected properly. This is the terminology as per the requirement of NBA, as well as you all know there is a term called as OB. I am going to cover that one later. So the purpose is to define properly the plan or curriculum or assessment is only because of this. And you can also think what is the level which you wanted to teach to a particular student. You want a lower order skill or higher order skill, what is that? And we can, an identification of a curriculum gap. This is very important, particularly for when you wanted to adapt a system called as OBE. OBE is totally a different approach than the traditional method. In the traditional method, what we teach is only a passive. There won't be any response from the other side, which will be totally different from the concept of OBE. And that is all will be accountable only with the term of your Bloom's taxonomy, right? So this is the reason which I am taking here, this taxonomy. Now, as per Benjamin Bloom's, the entire domain he has made into 3 parts. It's all, what I'm talking is all about majorly of assessment. With this basis only we can go for assessment. That is the reason I brought in the topic called as Bloom's taxonomy, right? And not only assessment, it can also take it up in terms of planning your curriculum, then making a delivery or what you call it as instruction, and all can be done only with these 3 domains. The first domain is called as your cognitive domain, where it will be dealing with all your brain aspects. That's the reason why you can see the picture. it's all related to thinking. The second domain is called as attitude or affective or feelings or emotions or behavior. All this will be in the second domain. Third one is called as psychomotor, which is all related with the movement. It can be a movement of hand or leg or a coordination activity of all these things together is going to be called as your psychomotor skill. These three domains will be definitely we can make into a part of your assessment. Accordingly, we can make your decision of what type of assessment we can take it up. Now it is your point to decide what kind of skill you wanted to impart to a particular batch of students. Whether it is B Farm or D Farm or M Farm, you only decide. That is the reason why I said it is designing your curriculum, planning, instruction, and what you call as your assessment. This is this entire cycle. Once you do an assessment, again you have to complete the loop by doing kind of review. That is the one which I am going to show you in the later part of this lecture. Hope you all understand. Head, heart, and hand is the other way of expressing this. The first type of domain is called as your cognitive domain. Under this, we have various levels. This is what I was telling you, lower order thinking and higher order thinking. From the bottom, if you take, the first three is called as lower order. The rest of the three is going to be called as higher order thinking. Now, this is the revised form of your, what do you call as Bloom's taxonomy with respect to cognitive domain. And in fact, the older version, which has been developed in 1950s, is going to be a different version, which you can see here. They start with knowledge, the lowest level, then comprehension, application, analyze, synthesis, and finally evaluate. All this is related to in terms of the nouns. So later, Anderson and team has reviewed all these things which has been developed by Bloom's, and they have revised this taxonomy in order to get a better outcome or a thinking skill. And that revision was done as per the one which I have given in the previous slide, which has happened in 2000. So the difference is there with respect to this is called as a revised Bloom's taxonomy. I'll let you know definitely to note down all these things. The first level is called as the remember, this lowest level. Hope you all know what is the meaning of a remember level. Whatever we had in your memory, taking all this back, that is called as a remember level. I'll have some example I tell you. Just note down only the levels. We can go individually one by one in the later part. The first is called as remember level. Then it is called as understand level. Then it is called as an apply level. Then an analyze level. Then we have an evaluate level, and finally create level. When you make level of create, that means you have made a student effectively to perform his activities after completion of a particular program. Or it can be taken even for a course. That is the reason we have an outcome which you know it is called as CO and PO. People who are in the assessment, the accreditation know about course outcome and program outcome. Of course, program outcome we are not going to design. It has all been done by the team of NBA or NAC. And in fact, we are unfortunate that all we could not do it because all the program outcomes that has been developed by the engineering people has been taken or given to us for our accreditation process of NBA. One or two things which may not be exactly fitting for us, but however, we have to follow this thing which has been given by NBA accreditation process. So these are the different levels. For quickly understanding this, recalling the facts in our memory, whatever there, it can be recalled. For a simple understanding that what is the capital of any particular country. So it is only recalled, right, like that. And understanding is what the fact it means. Then applying the facts, rules, concept, ideas is going to be in the third level. They are all lower order. Now you only have to decide whether you want the student to know about the lower order or higher order. Most of your practical components will start, or the project or anything will be starting from the fourth level of analyze, then evaluate and create. They are all called as higher order thinking. So in case of analyze, the entire part, whatever been given, has been broken into many parts, and analyze what is being given, whether it is all correct or not, that will be taken up in the next level of judging in the evaluate level. After judging with all these 5 components together, now you will be allowed freely to do a system. That is, we call it as creation or construction. This is all a revised Bloom's taxonomy. So slightly having a variation with your older version. This is the older version which has been there. The older version is given in terms of nouns, and Anderson has revised everything. All outcomes should start with the verb. Remember, you should be having a terminology with verb. Maybe we can do some kind of an assignment with this verbal classification. I have got some papers for you to test you. Hope Dr. Sampath sir will support me in getting those papers. Not now, but inform them to do it. Okay, remember level I told you, you are just recalling from the long-term memory. And when you wanted to ask questions in the lower order, remember you have to use a verbal term. You can use this what, define, list out, recall, how, paraphrase. There are many terminology which has been available, which for the lower level of maybe 1 mark or 2 marks we can use it. That's the way you have to start with your questions or assessments which is to be done. Which you can take it as, you can have any forms of your assessment tool. Anyhow, I'm going to cover this part again in terms of your methods, which I'm going to take it up for the assessment tools. It can be a MCQ type, or it can be fill in the blanks, or it can be true or false. Any level you can focus on this particular remembering concepts. This is all the verbs which you have to use it. Generally, state, mention, name, rearrange, all these things will be there. The second level of revised Bloom's is about understanding. Understanding is, you can say, meaning of an instructional message. What is the meaning of the instruction? The instruction can be in the form of oral, or it can be written, or it can be of a graphical representation. Now you have to give your understanding for what is the message given. Based on that, you have to respond. That we call it as an understand. And for example, here it is given as, what shape would it create if we join 4 lines perpendicular to each other? For this, you should have some amount of knowledge, the remember level, then only we can make that. So whenever you have the thinking levels are interlinked. When you go to the second level, you should have the application of first level. If you go to third level, again, level 1 and 2 will be combined. So all things finally up to the 6th level, 1 to 5 will be combining, you will get the final level of your creations. So this is the point which you need to take as a message for this particular Bloom's taxonomy. So what is the difference between rectangle and triangle? To have a difference, you should know first what is rectangle and what is triangle. This is only a simple basic information I've given you for understanding this. For this, the pattern of questions can be a short answer, or a concept mapping, or even a labeling of a diagram. You should first know what is the diagram is for, and where you have to make your label. You should know, if you know only you can make a labeling. So all these things are coming under the category of understanding level. The third level is about applying. So using a familiar point, and then that you're going to use it in the situation. That is going to be your apply level. You all know what is a triangle. That was the question I asked, given in the previous thing. Now if I'm asking a question, how will you calculate area of a triangle? With the information what you know already, it's a familiar situation. Then you have to use an application of, you have to say 1 by 2 b into h. That you are applying based on the information what you know already. So that we call it as application of something else into a situation of what is known to you earlier. So you can have the change in this system of thinking will be going to a level better from understand level. So people will be able to have an application and analyze level. Right? This is most of your practical components will come from apply and analyze level. Practical component of lower order, maybe in the first year or second year. But if you go to the 4th year, it will go to the higher orders. So this is of role play case studies, all will be coming under the apply level. The fourth one is analyzing. When you want to do analysis, you all know this is a common term which you will be knowing. When you do want to analyze, what you'll do? You have to take all these things, all components to be taken into consideration. So instead, you take that sample and make into various parts and make your inference or analyze. This is correct or not, we have to make an analysis only after making different parts. That could be a better way of explaining this level of what you call as analyze. And we can have a comparison of the results of your lab experiment. This is a wonderful example. The lab experiment of one person may not be exactly the same of the second experiment, right? I mean, the second person. So we need to analyze. So if you do a titration, for example, first of all, whether the weighing has been taken correctly or not for the candidate. The weight is the same. Whether the person has used a calibrated glasswares, whether he has made any kind of efforts has been taken for this kind of weighing or having a calibrations, then whether he has filled up the liquid into the burette properly of the upper meniscus or lower meniscus, whether he has recorded the values in a concordant manner. There are so many parts. That means you have to analyze the entire system of what you wanted to do. That can be taken into consideration, and that breakup has to be taken for finalizing the part of analysis. So you have a different terminology. What is been given here is examine, interpret, then infer, dissect, deduce, relate, categorize. Remember, all these things are a verb. These verbs have to be included in your questions. Your assessments should start, whether it is a course outcome or program outcome or a program education objective, PEO is another one, or the question which you are going to set is all going to be start with the verbal terminology like this. Now this terminology is going to be ideal for each and every type of your level which you are going to do. Based on the verb which you are going to use, we can easily predict whether it is of lower order or of a higher order. This has all been higher order. So comparative essay, data analysis, research projects, critical thinking is all will be coming under this category. The next level is about evaluating. This is what we are doing it in our what you call as the curriculum education, which I am going to compare. But remember, the term assessment is totally different from evaluation. I have a slide later on the second part. So evaluation is nothing but judging. The judgment is whether the study is correct or not, that you have to judge. How do you judge? Definitely you should have some a simple example. People from pharmaceutics, you are asking to do a quality of a tablet. You will be given a tablet, but how do you assess the quality? For which we have a set of standards. Where is the standards given? Mostly go with pharmacopoeia, or you can take a guidelines from US FDA, or you can take ICH. That standard will be taken into consideration, and taking your report and compare and give a final judgment whether what is the quality of any particular. This is for a pharmacy side. I have taken this as tablet. It can be given for any kind of activity from different fields. So here we can take a debate or a position papers or peer reviews or critics. All can be as one of the criteria for your evaluation. Create. This is the highest order of critical thinking, which we are going to have all elements together put into a single shape to get the final expected outcome. That is called as your creation. Now, after completing your 4 years program, you have been given a project work. Most of the project work, either you'd go with the people from pharmaceutics, will be going for a making of a formulation. To make a formulation, you should do all the kind of thinking level. First, you should remember what you have learned. You should understand what that particular activity which you are going to perform, and whether the application, what you are going to take it is will be specific for a particular setup, or we have taken the analysis of all the components you are going to take it into the formulation is correct or not, and then do a proper evaluation that the parameters what you are going to do is correct, and finally come to a state of formulation. All these things will be covering with these 5 aspects of what you call as remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Finally, we have created. Now you can decide where is the student standing, whether he is able to only remember what you have taught, or he is capable of making a formulation or doing a particular analysis by using an instrumentation, or can perform any kind of animal experimentation, or he is capable of doing any kind of extraction or phytochemical isolation. This is all, generally I'm giving an example that will be of very high order levels. So this is all about the domain. What I said is all about cognitive domain. From the head portions, cognitive of the normal on the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, this is a simple example for you to understand. I just made a slide here. Now you have been assigned as this question paper setter. Now how to set a question paper with what kind of variable levels of your skills, thinking skills, lower order thinking or order thinking. This is better go with this kind of, this is only a suggestion. It may be a slight modification, we can take it up according to your convenience. If I wanted to go for the remember level with MCQs or true or false or match or something like that, we can definitely take it up. Short answers up to that remember level. You cannot have an elaborate question or discussion question into a remember level. Do you think it will be okay or appropriate? For a remember level, can you put a question under the discussion level? It may not be appropriate. I have a set of questions which I wanted to project. I'm going to project the question paper. You all have to identify what is wrong with the question. This has been prepared by all the teachers, including me as a teacher. You all, when I design any particular course or curriculum, the question what I have told is what I want a student should learn. So in this particular, all the participants participating in this should be a good question paper setter, excellent question paper setter. Using the Bloom's taxonomy, I think I can make it. After completion of this, I will assess it at the end. I have some assessment also which you can take it up in the slides to follow. So understand level and remember level can be okay. Sometimes the MCQ we can make it. That is why I told you it can be according to our tune we can make it up. In some of the cases reasonings, we can use the MCQ and that will be coming into the order of higher thinking. So apply level can be in short answer. But in terms of essay or discussion question, it will be of higher order thinking, including oral questions. Most of the time orals, what we ask, why you are adding this, what is the purpose, if it is not added, what will happen, these all thinking levels vary. Most of the questions, if you are asking directly defined, it may not come under the higher order thinking. That is what we need to know. And there was a question paper which I hope you all know, the university have 3 sets of assessment. One is 10 marks essay or elaborate. The other one is short notes. Third one is short answer. The question paper setter started right till from the elaborate to the end of. This is the level which we need to change. The point is, you want to only write something by the student. You should know what you wanted the student to answer. That should be very, very specific. The entire question, it is written as right. Right from 10 marks question, 5 marks question, and 2 marks question, everything is right. So what he will write? He will write whatever you say, he will simply write, please pass me. This is what happened many times, right? Sometimes they will keep even some papers of the money also. It has happened in my cases. So the point here is, uniform distribution of questions should be in all levels. You should not go with only remember in all times, only with your analyze level or only with create level. It should be a distribution. Then only we can have a matching or mapping of course outcome with program outcome, which will definitely lead to get your PEOs. I'll come back to that point because many of you may not be knowing about CO, PO mapping or even the PEOs. Hope you can able to know at least to certain percentage of extent, how can I set a question paper for an university level or at least even in a internal assessment level. Okay, whatever I taught is all about the cognitive. The second aspect is about behavior, feeling, emotions, right? The levels will start from receiving. So receiving is to know something. We call it as awareness. I am teaching something, you are receiving it. You are not responding. You should make the difference in terms of your teaching. Make the student respond and make the teaching as student-centered rather than teacher-centered. This is what we call it as an important mantra of OBE. So receiving is one. Responding is, once I put you some questions, you will be reacting. Particularly if you take a group discussion, definitely you need to speak. If you are not speaking, you are not selected in any particular group discussion. So you have to respond. This is all related to your feelings, emotions, or behavior that you are going to have it. Third one is valuing. Valuing is whatever you understand, based on the understanding, you have to act or respond or react to that. So you first understand the part which has been there, then act accordingly, which is going to be called as valuing. Organization is again, all these aspects which has been combined together is going to be having a systematic arrangement of all this, what you've gone from the level of receiving to the level of your organization, arranging in a proper order, which is going to be your organizations. You all know that organization chart is one of the common terminology we use it in accreditation. Organization chart means the top will be having a management, we have a CEO, we have a principal, under this we have HODs, like that arrangement systematically which you're going to have it here. Then adapt behavior is again combining all together. Every individual have a different in behavior based on right from the receiving end. Then it goes to, that means the behavior cannot be same for every person, right? It will be different to a different person based on this kind of a setup. Then accordingly, this affective domain is going to be there. Majorly, this affective domain is not much been involved by the NBD accreditation authorities. Mostly, they have given the domain only with respect to cognitive skills. Right? The program outcomes, later part of this lecture. These are all some of the examples for your understanding. What is receiving? I am willing to hear. I'm only willing to hear. I'm not going to ask you a question. That is the lower level of your emotion or feeling or behavior. In this case, I can give you listening to a lecture, what you're doing now, or listening to your music. Sometimes, rarely we'll be having a difference in terms of, mostly it is related to particularly the emotions or the behaviors. Watching a movie is another one. Responding is willing to respond. You are willing to respond for what is being taught. This is with respect to a different environment where we can use this terminology of what you call as responding. Having a conversation or participation in group discussion. Valuing is worth of something and makes a commitment to it. That's what I given. You can have a proposal of a guideline for an antibiotic prescription, particularly the people from pharmacy practice. If you wanted to respond for this, what should know? First, you need to do a susceptibilities test. That is the understand and then acting that. So to have that, you need to have that test and then perform it. For then only you can go for a guideline for prescribing an antibiotic. There are a lot of examples. If you Google it, you will get a lot of examples. I have taken an easy way of doing it for the understanding. Organization, arranging the values in a very structured way. Then prioritizing your time to effectively to reach your goals. You will be setting a goals. How to reach a goal, we have to systematically organize. When to do first, which one to do last, how you are going to perform, all these to be arranged in a systematic order to achieve your goal. That's what we are going to have in organizing. Characterizing is, when you are expert in all these things, will be characterized. Your behavior is defined. That's what you have a characterization. Integrating values to become a consistent part of individual behavior. When you do certain things continuously, it becomes a habit. So that will define you what is your behavior. So your characters has been built in here and you can able to identify. This is all the different ways of your what you call as affective domain. The verbs which is been commonly used in case of affective domain, different verbs of accept, acknowledge, aware, listen, is all been available in most of your, but there will be slight variation from one text to other text. You should use the proper literature to give a correct terminologies. This is an affective domain. Yes, the third part, out of 3 domains is the third domain. We have seen already cognitive. The second is affective or behavior. Third one is psychomotor. When you say it is psychomotor, it is related to your movement or a coordination. All will be generally made into a form of a psychomotor activity. Movement is your hand, your vision, your legs. All this will be called as your psychomotor activity, which again have different levels. First one is imitation. Mostly, if you say imitation, I'm doing something, then you are repeating the same thing by just seeing it. That is called as imitation. And if you say manipulation, you are repeating the same with certain instructions. Because when you do imitation, it may not exactly fit in. So in that case, we have to do an instruction. So when you imitate with instruction, it is called manipulation. If it is without instruction, it is called the next level, called as precision. Got it? Repeating with instruction, repeating without instruction. Articulation is you are having a complete coordination of speed, time, control. All will be having it. A best example could be, you would have seen in the magics, the balls juggling. There you have to find out the timing, control of the flow, and then we have to have a coordination with the speed. If these things, one is getting missed, then you may not be able to see the balls which have been continuously running. And in terms of precision, I could say, driving a car is the best example, I could say, precision. How do you drive a car? You have eye coordination, steering control, leg coordination. 3 components have to be coordinated. Somebody is instructing you when you're driving a car. If you're not a learner, somebody is instructing you, no. It's all been coordinated together. Without instruction, you are trying to do it. It's called your precision. And if everything is done spontaneously, automatically, that is the top level. Automatically, even at very late, midnight, if you ask somebody to do it, you'll do it without any having hesitation. It's a spontaneous process, automatic process. If it is, then it is called as an expert. That we generally say it is a naturalization. This is all the terminology which you can take it up, given. If I put early, you will start copying it, you may not listen to me. That's why I've just given at the end. All this description is there, which you can understand the psychomotor control of the Bloom's level. So copying action or repeating, reproducing the activity with instruction, performing without instruction, and having an accurate control speed and time, and lastly an expert, which is automatic. So all your 3 different domains which the Blooms have been given. The general question which usually is, as a teacher will ask, what is the need for studying all these domains? Why should I study all these things? I have covered almost 40-30 minutes. These 3 domains. What is the purpose? You have been here for the 5-day FDP on 4 important aspects. One is about teaching, second is about innovation, third is about research, fourth is about leadership. When you talk about teaching, one is about the learning process. The other is about assessment process. In terms of assessment, these basic informations are highly essential to evaluate effectively. That is why the term, my topic is effective evaluation strategy. This can be applicable or can be monitored or can be performed only if you know about these domains, then only we can go for an assessment. Hope you are understood what is the purpose of having this. Okay, these are all the different verbs. Remember, that is the reason the revision has happened, because sometimes it has been the noun which has been changed to verb. And also there was a change in the thinking level. That is the reason the evaluate has gone into the lower order in the revision, and the create has gone to the higher order. These are all the terminologies which you can take as verbs. Okay, now this is an assessment part for you. Just read, identify the correct cognitive skills for the followings. Just before answering, I just wanted to give a clear summary so that you can able to pick it up. 3 domains: cognitive, affective, psychomotor. This slide is not for psychomotor or affective, only for cognitive. You need to identify what is the correct one for this level of thinking. Otherwise, take a question or take a photograph and answer me later so that I can discuss more at the end of the session if you have any on the questions. Good, correct. But let others also answer. Just take a photograph and you answer yourself. You make a self-assessment and let me give the answer at the end so that I don't know whether I have taught you properly so that you received it correctly. Now, Bloom's have given an illustration to Rajshekharan to find out whether his teaching is correct or not. That can be taken up at the end of the session. So I'll skip this one and go to the next level. I got your answers also. Okay. These are all some questions I asked. I'll come back to it at the end because I want to cover some more portions also here. Yes, the second, whatever I taught is all about the portion 1 of Bloom's taxonomy. Now, you should remember, not with the term of what I'm talking about Bloom's, the purpose is, in order to make your assessment perfectly or appropriately, we should know about Bloom's. That is the reason I have taken Bloom's taxonomy, right? Now, in terms of your assessment tools, first, what is assessment, right? Why do you are assessing? We have a terminology. It's a vital part of teaching and learning. Any teaching, it need not be only in education. It can be any part, any things which is in the world. A process in which the teaching learning process where you're getting a feedback from the learner about the skill and the knowledge. The skill and knowledge, can you identify it will come from which part of these domains? Answer is correct, but I'm expecting others to answer. So it should come, that is the reason why I'm repeatedly saying Bloom's, why this person has taken Bloom's, I think somewhere, no way correlated with the teaching learning, this fellow started talking about Bloom's. The reason is, everything starts with the taxonomy of Bloom's. Then only we can go for any kind of improvement in your identifying a gap, creating an outcome, and then making whether it is all correct or not and reviewing it. At the end of review, whether the system, whatever you have followed is case, if it is not, then you have to go for a change. That is what I am going to show you in this assessment part. So foundation for decision making and planning for instruction. You have to decide whether this system is going to be okay or not, otherwise you have to go for a instruction for planning. And this is the slide which I really wanted to show all of them because many of you are thinking that assessment and evaluation is the same. It is not exact. We use it intermittently for these two terminology. The evaluation, as I mentioned in the previous part, is only judging the quality. It's only judgment. But assessment is, you wanted to make a student to perform better. The quality has been improvised, for which, if you want to improvise a quality, we should know what is the current status. Then only we can go for an improvement. To do that current status, you have to do some kind of an activity. That you can do it only by doing a kind of a test or what you call as assessment, right? This particular definition should be able there. And another important point, assessment could be for an individual performance, whereas the evaluation may be for a quality or in a broader program. program is different from an individual. This is a point which you should know. These are the purpose of assessment, by knowing it very well. You should measure. The purpose is mainly for knowing the knowledge and the skill. Remember, the knowledge you can measure from where? Measure knowledge. The written theory paper. Can you measure the skill in a written theory paper? Mostly it is related to a practical component or a project component or a role play component or a debate or a case presentation or anything else. But so you have to design what kind of measurement which you can take it, that you have to plan at the beginning itself. That's what I'm going to show you, the slicing decision, which you need to definitely know whether the system is working out well or not. How, if it is not so, how you are going to change it according, that you need to find out. And other important thing is identifying gap, which you have already seen in case of Bloom's. We can able to identify the gap. What is the portion which we have not concentrated properly, that we need to take it up and then clearly give that particular gap to be identified, and then proper review or change has to be made for the students. Setting goal. Definitely. This setting goal is, again, I just want to take some example from NBA accreditation. People who have worked with accreditation know it very well. When you wanted to set a goal, the goal is something like this. I want a batch of B.Pharm student in a final year, all the students must score more than 66%. That is my goal. But how, whether it is achieved or not, how will know? For that only the system of what I show you, then you have to map it. And remember, the setting goal cannot be taken for one single year. When you go for accreditation, you have to continuously make it for 3 continuous years. Then only you can change in the 4th year. If you achieve or attain that 66% continuously for 3 years, that will be acceptable. If not, you have to again continue the same thing. So that decision I'm saying, because sometimes students may feel biochemistry is very tough. In that case, you cannot take it as 66%, you can take it as 60%. That again, it depends upon the lecturer or the teacher who wanted that particular students have to achieve this. That is your setting of a goal, that you can take it only from based on assessment. That is another part which you can take it up. Improving in teaching, definitely we can we have somewhere lacking in the teaching, so I have to improve it. So what is the methodology which I have to use it for improving teaching? There are a lot of methodologies there. That assessment, again, you have to make a difference. Motivation, definitely it is going to be motivated. Most of the teachers sitting here, after the completion of your internal assessment, we are following in our system in our college. You all definitely will do it, I think. After the assessment is over, the internal assessment, we correct the paper. After the correction paper, you give it to the students. Hope you will all do it. We will ask, generally if it is not happening, plus 2 important information you have to tell the students why I am giving paper is only for 2 purpose, majorly. First, check whether the total what is been given to correct or not. Secondly, whether all questions are been corrected. If not, you have to inform me. This is generally given. But most importantly, other thing which as a teacher you should do, what is that? Why you got a less mark? Or otherwise I can say, what answer your question, in order to get full marks for that question, you should definitely tell. Then only you will be a good teacher. You will be recognized. You will be respected. This is do it. Just only not totaling or just giving a correction paper. You should tell a student, you have got less marks because you are not